In recent years, companies have become increasingly aware of the environmental impact they're causing. Thus, sustainability has become a key concept within businesses. As businesses seek sustainability, they look for innovative ways to obtain it. But first, what is sustainable innovation? On one hand, we can define sustainability as the ability of a business to extend its life by producing goods and services that do not affect the environment. On the other hand, we can define innovation within businesses as the development of new ideas, products, processes, or methods that enable efficiency and the creation of value. In that sense, sustainable innovation can be defined as the generation of new ideas, products, processes, and services that enable sustainability and considering in the process both the environment and the company's profitability. Now, to put this into context, let's talk about Uber's case. Uber's success in the transportation business can be attributed to its innovative business model. Uber is not the conventional taxi business. Instead, through the creation of an on-demand business model, the company has been able to change the industry completely. Through its business model, Uber has been able to create a very solid value proposition, both for passengers and drivers, acting as a facilitator to cover both their demand and supply respectively. Uber has been able to completely disrupt the transportation and taxi industry, providing a service that covers their clients' necessities in both ends. However, Uber's current business model is not sustainable. According to a study conducted in 2019 by Transport and Environment in Europe, Uber has had a notable impact in CO2 emissions, degrading air quality significantly. To put this into context, just in Paris and London alone, Uber has been responsible for adding 515 kilotons of CO2 into the air. In addition, the studies show that Uber has increased traffic significantly by driving away people from using public transport. Consequently, as mentioned before, there is an evident necessity for addressing these environmental issues through the incorporation of innovative, sustainable business models.
In order to be competitive and stand out from the normal transportation services, the creators of Uber had to implement two types of innovation: product performance and service. These two types of innovation created a better value proposition than the normal taxi companies were offering. In the regard of product performance, Uber, through its new transportation service, established a creative and different product performance innovation. Service is also a type of innovation that is essential to a company if it wants to create a better value proposition to their customers. Uber is a very easy app to use and it offers a lot of options. This offers a better service and creates a better relationship between the customer and the company. As discussed before, Uber is a company that from its beginning has always saw innovation as a key element to provide a better service to its customer. Their search for innovation has led them to explore and get new creative ideas from outside sources. Thanks to this, Uber has partnered with multiple institutions like universities and has created multiple events like the Uber Open Source, whose objective is to promote innovation and work with entrepreneurs and researchers. Megatrends are a subject that every company must take into account because it can extremely affect the situation of the business. A company can grow drastically if it can adapt to these megatrends, but if not, it could lose a lot of potential profit and even go into a critical situation. In the case of Uber, the megatrends that could impact in the company and affect the innovations are the political risk and the rapidly changing consumer values.
Uber has implemented many sustainability strategies and changes en route to stay on top of the market and attract new clients. For starters, the purpose of the company is to provide more rides for everyone. That purpose, in and of itself, is very sustainable because it helps reduce the amount of cars in the streets, which means that there are less carbon emissions being released into the environment. Some of Uber's initiatives on sustainability include adding the Uber Pool feature as well as Uber Freight and Uber Eats. Uber Pool immensely reduces the use of more vehicles on the streets, reducing traffic and accidents, as well as carbon emissions and greenhouse gases that vehicles release. With respect to the business model innovation applied to Uber, there are two segments involved: the eco-social cost, which is the use of combustion-driven vehicles, and the eco-social benefit, which is the use of electric scooters. Some of the sustainable development goals that Uber tackles are to ensure access to affordable and clean energy, take urgent action to combat climate change, and strengthen the means for partnerships to make more sustainable developments. If you refer to the business model canvas for Uber mentioned before, we can see improvement opportunities along the whole table, specifically in the value propositions and customer relations section, where We can attract customers to ride in electric cars as well as offer drivers great deals.
So, as a conclusion, and as discussed before, consumers have increasingly been aware of the environmental impact companies are causing through their process of production. And this affects their purchasing decision into choosing companies that have a less environmental impact and an eco-friendlier product and service. Thus, it is of immense importance for companies to implement new ideas that help their process of production to be more sustainable. Also, innovation is a subject which can help companies come up with these new sustainable ideas. And in the recent years, it has been discovered that companies can implement sustainable innovation into their business models, but it takes a great amount of effort to change the whole business model. Embracing an open innovation mindset, companies can gradually make modifications to their process of production and business models. And if we analyze the case of Uber, we saw that Uber generates a great amount of pollution into the environment, and it needs to start changing some of their elements in their business model. But we also realize that even if it's complicated to be a company completely sustainable, there are multiple strategies which Uber can apply for it and to their business model as well in order to gradually make it more sustainable every time. As we saw before, innovation is a crucial subject for the sustainability and an evolution of the company. If Uber does not innovate their business model into a more sustainable one, it can be left behind by their competition, or the consumers will start looking for companies that have a more sustainable business model.